I've always been heavily committed to triple screen sim racing. There's just something about being able to build an immersive rig around some screens that I really enjoy. And I never really cared for VR, but a few months ago, Pimax sent me the Crystal Light, and I actually did really enjoy it. Now there's not really anything that's going to drag me away from the triple screen setup, but there are perks to VR that I enjoyed, and today Pimax has sent me the Crystal Super for me to unbox and share with you guys. So we're going to get it opened up, and I'm going to share my first impressions with you. Having been pleasantly surprised by the Crystal Light, I have expectations for the Super. My biggest concern is going to be that the high resolution might be too much for my Radeon 7900 XTX, but we'll talk about specs in a minute. Much like the Crystal Light, the Super comes ready with everything you need to get started, even an extra face pad. Perfect for when you need to wash the first one because you know VR gets a little warm. It includes two controllers which don't seem to be any different than the ones that come with the Crystal Light, but then again, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? As far as the headset goes, it does look a little more premium with that transparent lens on the front, and it's got a sleeker, less bulky design. I immediately noticed the larger face pad that looks like it wraps all the way to the top of your head. Combined with the adjustable strap, this looks like it'll stay in place much better than the Light did. Inside the small box, you'll find the power cord, 2 USB cables for charging the controllers, a screwdriver with some spare screws, and a small cloth for the lens cleaning. Now on paper, the Crystal Super isn't designed to compete with other headsets. It's designed to obliterate most of them, but later on we'll find out if it actually does. For now we'll just talk about what's on the spec sheet. Starting at the screens, the Pimax Crystal Super pushes visual clarity to another level using ultra-sharp 3840 by 3840 per eye resolution. It uses glass aspheric lenses, giving you a large sweet spot that keeps the image crisp even when your eyes move. And with 50 pixels per degree and a 127 degree horizontal field of view, the headset should have a good balance of sharpness and immersion. For performance, you get a variable refresh rate of 72 or 90 Hz, keeping the gameplay smooth and responsive. It also features automatically adjusting IPD from 58 to 72 millimeters, so the headset's going to adapt to your eyes for comfort and clarity, and you don't need to make the adjustments manually like you did on the Crystal Light. And with the local dimming feature, colors should pop with more vibrance and depth, making environments feel more true to life. The Super also offers flexible tracking. You can use the inside-out tracking setup or expand with lighthouse tracking if you want more precision. Now for this review, we're focusing on the 50 ppd version of the Crystal Super. But it's worth mentioning that there's also a 57 ppd version, an ultra-wide version with a 140 degree field of view, and a micro OLED version. Alright, now that we got all that out of the way, I am dying to go racing. So I want to get this thing set up so I can tell you guys how it actually looks and feels. Now setting up a Pimax VR headset is relatively easy. Ultimately, all I had to do was plug in the DisplayPort, the USB, and the power cord, and boot up the Pimax app, which I already had. Had I not had it, I would just needed to log in and everything would have been linked there anyways. So this is basically the screen you would get. I did have to do a quick firmware update, and this is where we end up. Before I start, I do want to check my settings because, like I said, I have some concern with my graphics card. The refresh rate is already at 72. And I think if I go to games, yeah, normal FOV, medium quality should be a good starting point. Ultimately, I know that this is going to be quite taxing on my card, so I just want to take it easy out the gate. And I think we're actually ready to go, so let's give it a test run. So normally I like to run everything in iRacing because that's where I mostly race, but it needs a 44 gigabyte update, which might take a little too long and impede me getting this video out. So I thought I would jump into AC Evo, a game that I haven't spent a whole lot of time in, but it has super good quality graphics. And as I'm looking around, there are things about this game that I had never realized before. Like, for example, I'm looking at the side impact bar, and maybe it's just because of the insane clarity of the VR headset, but that side impact bar is 100% shiny metal. Like, it looks like a side impact bar. I could see little detailed scratches and scuffs just from, you know, the wear of climbing in and working on the car. Just so much insane detail on this headset and in this game. The combination probably is perfect for this test. So decided to come to Bathurst to test it out. And jump out on the track here. Give it a little go. Just kind of want to experience the overall visuals. And I will say, as of right now, the visuals inside the car are definitely better than on the outside. But I think that has a lot more to do with the fact that there's just no way I could run the graphics as high as I want to on the game and on the headset. So for now, I'm just going to enjoy the fact that the car on the inside looks insanely amazing and beautiful. Now, I have not spent enough time on AC Evo to have the tire model down or really have any control over the car. Like, it's definitely different than iRacing. I don't have a setup on the car, so it's basically just, you know, whatever the standard setup is on it. And that's probably going to be a bit messy. But the whole point is to experience the graphics and the headset, not so much the game or my lack of skills on the game. Or lack of ability to use the whole track, I guess. Holy cow, though. If I took away all the little screens that are on here, turned up the resolution on the actual game itself, I am truly convinced that I could be tricked into believing I'm in a real car right now. I don't even have the butt kicker on. That would probably make this a whole nother level of immersive. But my goodness, this is fantastic. And you guys, if you guys have watched any of my sim racing videos, it takes a lot for me to get excited about things. And I guess maybe I need to experience more VR headsets to really know where this stands in the spectrum. But wow. I love this. Oh. That hurt a little, but... Alright guys, so I wanted one more comparison. So I came over to ACC because AC Evo obviously has updated graphics and everything. And I just wanted to get a feel for whether it was the game or the headset or the combination of. And the thing with ACC is I'm looking around and I'm seeing some incredible detail that I never realized this game had. I'm also seeing some things that I'm less impressed with. For example, my legs in the game, the steering wheel, things like that aren't all that incredibly detailed. Like the things that are up in my face could look a little better. But looking at the side roll bars and the Alcantara line dash, like there's certain things that with this headset are just so clear. And I kind of just wanted to get in here and take a look around and get the overall experience. And as I'm looking around, I'm losing control of the car. But yeah, definitely think that ACC is a little toned back. AC Evo with this VR headset is like a glimpse at the future of what immersive sim racing through VR could look like. Like, imagine that game with optimal graphics card, like a 5090, with everything turned up, and just what this thing will be able to do. I am truly impressed by it. Now, as I mentioned, this is just my first impressions of the Crystal Super, but I have to tell you guys, I was really hoping that I'd be able to say, yeah, it's not really worth it, you should just go with the Crystal Lite, because I feel like the Crystal Lite is a great budget VR headset. The Crystal Super is still reasonably priced for the amount, or for the quality and the clarity that you get with it. Like, that image quality, it's hard for me to imagine something with even better quality and clarity than that. It's just so crisp and clean, and honestly, I didn't notice any issues with blurring around the edges, or like, everything stayed very much in focus for me, and I thought it worked just extremely well. Obviously, I want to spend a lot more time with it and get to spend time in iRacing and really fully experience it, but out the gate, I can't say that the Crystal Lite is even close to as good as the Crystal Super is. It just hits differently. And like I said, as somebody who is passionate about triple screens, and as a content creator who wants to be able to use triple screens, I think that there's just gonna have to be a place on the channel for VR on occasion, because the experience is just awesome. Now, let me reiterate in full transparency, I'm not the most experienced person with VR. I've tested several VR headsets that I didn't like enough to even get into sim racing with, and they ultimately, like, I didn't keep any of them. But with Pimax, it's been a little bit different. I've really enjoyed the experience. It's been different from like the level of quality and immersion that I felt from the other VR headsets, and I've been genuinely impressed. That being said, with such a limited experience, I may not be the best person to recommend a headset. But if you guys are interested in shopping Pimax, you can use promo code THIRDWHEEL to get 3% off. If you guys want to help support the channel, you can also use the affiliate link in the description. I'm also going to keep the description updated with other current promos that are available. Those tend to change a little bit more. The promo code for me is consistent, but if there's other promos out there, I'll make sure I explain them in the details so that you guys can access those and be aware of them. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Cup Car 2.0 build, and this is your first time coming to the channel, I am in the process of building a super immersive triple screen setup. It's still a bit in the early stages. This week, I'm planning on getting the roof built, and hopefully by the next update, I'll be able to show you guys the full completed roof and the process of how I built it. If you guys are interested in that, or in more content on the VR, or anything else that I have going on with this build, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you next week.